Okay, awesome. Here we go. We're at Cascade, and we're going to do Ableton. How do we add a new song? So I'm here with Steven.
Hello.
Awesome. So we're in Google Drive. We're under Ableton Sync, and All Creatures of Our God and King is the one that we're currently looking at. It looks like we've only got 2 tracks. So what we would do is we would just go up and we would hit download on the whole song. Yep, perfect. It's going to do its thing, zipping a downloadable file. So then the very next thing that we'll go to is open a Finder window, and we're going to find where that's actually going to download, which is in Downloads. And we'll clean this Downloads folder up here soon. So yeah, you can just hit Save on for Chrome. It's just saying, hey, where do you want this to go? We want it to go to Downloads, which we can see over on the left side. We're in Downloads. Yep. And we can just hit Save. So there it is, zipped and ready to go. You can click on that, or you can go to the Finder window. It'll take you to either. Awesome. So if we double click on that folder, there are our audio files. And we've only got 2 of them. WAV files are our audio files. ASD files are Ableton files. So that's where like warp settings and stuff like that are saved. So we're just going to click and drag in the WAV files on a new scene. So let's jump into Ableton, and let's just make a blank new scene. So we can do that by going up to, I think it's in Create, Insert Scene. Yep. So if you scroll up or down, either way, you can see that we just added a new number. So we're just going to hit Command R, and that's going to let us rename. You could also right click and rename would be one of the options, but let's call it All Creatures of Our God and King. Cool. And then let's go find, do we have it written down what key this song is in? Okay. So that doesn't mean that it, so that's what we're looking at on Planning Center. So that's what we want it to be. But do we know in Google Drive, is it listed what key it's originally, the stems are in? Awesome. So that's something we're going to have to figure out, which we will do post this recording. But usually in the title of All Creatures of Our God and King, we'll put the key and we'll put the tempo of the song. So when we import into Ableton, we know what to assign it to. So we can scroll all the way. We can close this little tab. Oh, it looks like it didn't take. We probably just didn't hit return when we were done. Okay, and just hit return. Perfect. And then let's just close this tab right here just so we have a little more screen real estate. And we'll go all over to the click track. And it's going to be as simple as dragging and dropping. So yeah, let's jump in. Finder, grab the WAV file. Yep, click is what it says. Done. And then we're going to do the same thing. I don't know what madness means.
I don't know either.
But this is great because it tells us the BPM of the song. So we'll add that in.
Maybe it's the guide.
Maybe. We're going to find out real soon. It doesn't look like a guide.
Oh.
It looks like a pad or some sort of rhythmic element. Anyway, let's finish this off really quick. So we know that the song is at 90.5 BPM. So let's add that to our title. So just at the very end, space, put 90.5 BPM. Cool, and then you can hit return. So when we launch that song in Ableton, up in the top left, it will change the BPM of Ableton's sync. Yeah, and it would work either way, whether it was caps or not caps. So that's a nice thing to know. But if we launch that scene now, you can see that Ableton internally changed to 90.5 BPM, which is good. But then if Scott was like, hey, could you change the BPM of the song to, we want to make it like 3 BPM slower, we can't just change it here. We will eventually, but we're going to need to warp it first. So now that we've said, hey, Ableton, the song is 90.5, we can go down and we can hit warp on both the click and whatever the madness thing is. Yep, so if you click warp, you can see, boom, 90.5 BPM in the warp settings, which is great. We're going to do the same thing for the click track. Done. And then down here on the warp type, I think we're defaulted to just complex if you click on it. Yep. Complex Pro would also work. So either of those two options are great. Basically, we just want to make sure that it's not on beats. Beats is great if it's like a click track or a drum track, but everything else will make the audio sound funky. So we just use complex for everything. But now if we were to go up into the Ableton title and Scott's like, hey, can we make this song 3 BPM slower? Or let's just make it easy. 1 BPM faster. Let's make it 91.5 instead. And then you hit go on the scene. The song would actually play back at 91.5 because we warped it, and the original song is 90.5. It's now speeding up to the Ableton host tempo of 91.5. If we didn't hit warp, it wouldn't be playing back faster. Okay? And that's as simple as it is of adding a song into Ableton. The final step is that we need to actually save these files into the Ableton session itself. Right now, Ableton is just saying, hey, I know that that these files are in the downloads folder. We want it to actually be inside the Ableton folder. Yep, that's a great thing to change back. I would have forgotten. So the final step is we're going to do what's called a collect all and save. So we'll just save the project first, Command S, and then when that finishes, Beach Wall of Death, we'll go up to File, and we'll go to Collect All and Save. Yep, and then yes to all of that. We're not using any factory packs because we're not using virtual instruments from Ableton. You can click OK, or anything from Ableton, factory stuff. So this will take a second, but once it does finish, all of the files that are in this Ableton folder are going to be saved to wherever this Ableton session is saved, which is, I believe, the desktop. When that finishes, we're then going to go to downloads, and we're going to delete what we just downloaded from Google Drive, so that we're not referencing stuff in our downloads. All of the audio files we could ever want are in the Ableton session. Any questions? He's melting away from the microphone because these tutorials are cringy, but they are super helpful when you're like, frick, I don't know how to make this work. So that's why we're doing it. I have all the questions as long as there's not a mic. Oh, okay. So the microphone will go away in a few seconds, and maybe I will bring it back out after we hear some other stuff. But cool. I'm gonna end it here. It's as simple as just deleting the files from the downloads folder right once this process finishes. So best of luck to you in your Ableton endeavors.